Will your ex ever regret the breakup and second guess their decision to move on from you and maybe even come back around and ask you to get back together? For the answer, watch this video. Hey, I'm Coach Benny, and I help people get their exes back. And before I did this, for about 5 years, I was a dating coach. And dating coaches have to pay attention to what little moves can you do that raises attraction with somebody else versus what are the things that for sure push people away. And with that experience, I help you get your ex back. Now, when you're trying to figure out if your ex is going to kind of see things clearly over time after the breakup, there's a lot of things to consider. The first thing is, how long has it been since the breakup? If you are below 3 to 5 months where you haven't chased them or contacted them, then it's going to be too soon. Most people, when they break up with you, it's either because of a loss of attraction or because they got overwhelmed and they have fear of a commitment, or it's because you've hurt them or they think that you've hurt them, and so they wall up. And if you haven't given it a series of months in no contact, it's going to be too soon in most cases. And the only thing that's going to dictate whether or not you need that time apart is your ex actively messaging you right now or not? If they're not messaging you right now, it means they need that time. And if that time hasn't passed, then it's too soon and you're gonna have to wait. They're not gonna get to this place where they want you back without that time. I don't know if you noticed this, but absence makes the heart grow fonder. If you run into an old friend that you haven't seen in years at the grocery store, you're gonna be excited to see them again. Much more excited than just your next door neighbor that you see every single day. Why? Because absence actually does make the heart grow fonder. And this is the case for you and your ex. Now, from an attraction perspective, over time, you build up this novelty factor and you become the green grass on the other side of the fence because they're living on their side of the fence and that's their norm. So the fact that you're on the other side of the fence, you build up this novelty factor over time. And also that's going to increase their receptivity of you when it's time to get back in contact. Now, this novelty factor and this anticipation that builds slowly over time can propel your ex to reach out to you even before this no contact time is up. And obviously, if they're reaching out to you, not under the guise of, hey, can you come get your stuff or some little excuse type thing, but if they're actually reaching out to you in a curious way or just wanting to reconnect, then obviously they've gotten past this place of you being the bad guy, this kind of thing, where they've had enough time to process everything and maybe start to second guess their view of the way things went down. I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but like when I think back to my childhood home and all the memories I have from my childhood, it kind of builds up in my mind, my childhood home in a certain way that's very nostalgic. And if you ever go back to your childhood home and you have these memories and then you go see the actual house you grew up in, you're like, this piece of shit, like that wasn't really the way I remembered it, And it's funny because our mind does the same thing with our memories. And so if your ex has a bunch of good memories with you as well, they're going to bolster those up in their mind and have this narrative about you now that you've kind of been out of their face for a while. And that's going to cause them, again, to maybe second guess the narrative they had about the breakup, to kind of loosen up about the problems that were there and be more interested in re-engaging with you after a certain period of time. So notice how time is a factor here. Now, there's another factor that we're not going to go too deep into in this video, but it is very much pertinent, and that is how you play your cards once your ex comes back. If you want them to change their mind, if you want them to ask you out or be open to getting back together, it's not a direct, right off the bat conversation. It's going to happen slowly, and you're going to need to make moves that are in line with the mechanics of attraction, okay? So if you want my help with that, click into my profile and then click this link right here, and you can schedule a call with me, tell me your story, and then I'll give you a customized game plan for your situation on how to exactly to get your ex back.